Hi, I'm Sarah Baya and welcome to my science class. Welcome to another fun and interesting science lesson today. In today's lesson, we will be identifying the effects of changes in temperature to food and medicine. At the end of our lesson, you are expected to prepare a list of food and medicine found at home with a required storage temperature, and cite ways on how food and medicine are affected by changes in temperature. Last week, we have learned that changes in materials can be useful or harmful to one's environment. So let us review our past lesson with a simple activity by identifying whether the following description is useful or harmful to our environment. If you answered them all correctly, congratulations! The Food and Drug Administration of the Philippines, or formerly known as the Bureau of Food and Drugs, is a healthy regulatory agency under the Department of Health in the Philippines. The agency is responsible for licensing, monitoring, and regulation of cosmetics, drugs, foods, household, hazardous products, medical devices, and electromagnetic radiation emitting devices, pesticides, tobacco, and related products and vaccines for safety, efficacy, and quality in the Republic of the Philippines. In today's lesson, you will learn about the effects of temperature to materials. Temperature greatly affects materials, especially food and medicine, because it can make food and medicine spoiled or may cause harm when taken in the body. For our first activity, I will ask you to list down the food inside your refrigerator and medicines found in your medicine cabinet at home. Pause the video for 5 minutes. As a safety reminder, be careful in doing the activity. Always ask permission and do the activity in the presence of an adult. So if you're ready, get your paper and ballpens ready and head to your refrigerator and medicine cabinet. Your time starts now. How was it? Were you able to list as many food and medicines found in your home? If you do, good job! Now, examine your list found in your refrigerator. Which of these food items can get easily spoiled when taken out of the refrigerator? After going to the grocery or wet market, what do you do with the food items? Where do you place them? It's so easy to forget about your grocery until they start stinking up in your kitchen. But here's the good news. Knowing how to store them properly isn't rocket science. Let's watch this video from the U.S. Food and Drug Administration.
I just saw a patient with a serious case of foodborne illness, or food poisoning, as most people call it. Foodborne illness has a wide range of symptoms. and can go from something I ate doesn't agree with me to being bad enough to cause a serious health problem or even death. And most foodborne illness symptoms don't present right away. It often takes 24 to 48 hours after eating the contaminated food. But in some instances, the incubation period may be longer. Based on what this patient told me, we aren't sure if it's from a restaurant or from food she prepared at home. That's why I make sure my patients understand that everyone has a role to play in ensuring food safety. Farmers, food companies, transporters, retailers, consumers, and the government. In fact, the FDA issued regulations to carry out the FDA Food Safety Modernization Act of 2011. This was the most sweeping reform of food safety laws in more than 70 years. The new rules require food producers to do more to identify and prevent problems before they might happen. And they set science-based safety standards for growing, harvesting, and packing produce. But sometimes contaminated food still reaches consumers, and the government can't regulate how consumers handle food. That's why we all need to know how to minimize the risk, especially for our patients who are at higher risk. Pregnant women, young children, older adults, and people with immune systems weakened by illness or medical treatment. Being smart about how we shop for food can do a lot to help prevent exposure to the two most common foodborne agents, viruses and bacteria. When it comes to foodborne illness, most of us think of undercooked meats and eggs, but raw fruits and vegetables can pose a risk. So can lunch meats and deli-type salads. There are a few things you can do while at the grocery store. Check the sell-by dates, use plastic bags for raw meat and poultry, and keep them separated from the other groceries in your cart, and only buy pasteurized dairy products and juice. Food recalls happen when contaminants are discovered in food products. They happen almost every day, and these foods could be almost anything. They range from fresh produce to peanut butter to meat and poultry. It's important to know that there may be nothing you as a consumer can do to make these foods safe. The best thing to do if they are recalled is just throw them out. For a list of current recalls, go to foodsafety.gov. Keeping the family safe is a priority in any household. So here are 4 basic steps to prevent foodborne illness in the home. Wash your hands often with warm or cold water and soap for at least 20 seconds before and after handling food, using the bathroom, changing diapers, or handling pets. Cleaning fruits and vegetables is important in order to get rid of soil that may remain on the produce. But there are a variety of other reasons to clean. Bacteria, viruses, or parasites can be on that produce as well. So make sure to rinse all produce thoroughly under cold water to help reduce your risk, and use a vegetable brush, especially on fruits and vegetables that have a skin or rind that won't be eaten. Rinse produce before you cut it, because if there are bacteria, viruses, or other disease-causing microorganisms on that skin and you cut it with a knife, that knife can carry that pathogen right into the fruit. Clean your cutting boards and other surfaces between preparing raw meat, poultry, seafood, or eggs, and preparing foods that won't be cooked, like salad veggies, so you don't contaminate the other foods. Or use separate cutting boards. Just as you separate your raw meat from other groceries in your shopping cart to avoid cross-contamination, do the same thing in your refrigerator. Never put raw meat, poultry, seafood, or fresh eggs anywhere where they may contaminate ready-to-eat food. I'm gonna put this chicken in the fridge to marinate for a couple hours, and I don't want it to be above or near my veggies, just in case the bag leaks. Some people like to reuse marinades for sauces and gravies, but never reuse marinades that were used with raw meats, unless you bring them to a boil first so that you kill any pathogens. Food is safely cooked when it reaches a high enough internal temperature to kill the harmful pathogens that cause illness. There are different safe temperatures for different foods, so check out the minimum safe cooking temperatures chart at foodsafety.gov. It's very handy. Once you know the temperature your meat should be cooked to, check it with a food thermometer. While the chicken is cooking, I want to talk about refrigeration. You should refrigerate or freeze meat, poultry, eggs, seafood, and other perishables within 2 hours of purchasing or cooking. Cold temperatures slow the growth of harmful bacteria. But don't overstuff the fridge. Cold air needs to circulate to keep food safe. Your refrigerator should be 40 degrees Fahrenheit or colder, and your freezer should be 0 degrees Fahrenheit or colder. A lot of refrigerators don't have a temperature gauge. Many just have a dial that says colder or warmer. So, get yourself a thermometer like this one. I'm pretty sure this chicken is done, but I'm gonna check it with the meat thermometer. And check that the meat is reaching the right internal temperature in several different places, so you know it's done. If you're like me, you love filling the house with family and friends and feeding them tons of food. So when you're prepping that big family dinner, never thaw food out on the counter, because that allows pathogens to multiply. You can thaw in the refrigerator or in cold running water. Or you can use the microwave. But if you do, you'll have to cook the food right away. These methods take time, so make sure you plan well and give your food plenty of time to thaw the right way. If you have a buffet set up for your guests, you need to make sure cold foods stay cold and hot foods stay hot. And when you're with family and good friends, it's easy to sit and talk for hours and forget that the food is still out on the counter. So make sure you put foods away within 2 hours to keep it safe. You don't want those delicious leftovers to make you sick. Leftovers can be kept in the refrigerator for 3 to 4 days or frozen for 3 to 4 months. Although safe indefinitely, frozen leftovers can lose moisture and flavor when stored for longer times. As you can see, with these steps, we can keep food safe, healthy, and fun. If you should become ill and think that the cause may have been foodborne, report it to your primary care provider or your local health department. And for even more information about safe food handling, preparation, and useful tips, go online to fda.gov/food. For information about safe food storage, try the FoodKeeper app at foodsafety.gov.
Not only does proper food storage prevent unnecessary waste, but it also lessens your grocery bill and minimizes the risk of contracting a foodborne illness. Here are some tips to help your food last longer. Double check your refrigerator's temperature. Be sure that it is set at the right temperature. Make sure your fridge thermometer is working correctly to prevent spoilage and reduce the risk of foodborne illness. The temperature should be set to at least 40 degrees Fahrenheit or 5 degrees Celsius, or a few degrees lower. The freezer temperature should be at 0 degrees Fahrenheit or negative 18 degrees Celsius. Check temperatures periodically. Refrigerate or freeze perishables right away. Foods that require refrigeration should be put in the refrigerator as soon as you get them home. Stick to the 2-hour rule for leaving items needing refrigeration out of room temperature. Never allow meat, poultry, seafood, eggs or produce or other food that requires refrigeration to sit at room temperature for more than 2 hours. 1 hour if the air temperature is about 90 degrees Fahrenheit. This also applies to items such as leftovers, doggy bags, and takeout foods. Check storage directions and labels. Many items other than meats, vegetables, and dairy products need to be kept cold. If you've neglected to properly refrigerate something, it's usually best to throw it out. Use ready-to-eat food as soon as possible. Refrigerated ready-to-eat food, such as luncheon meat, should be used as soon as possible. The longer they're stored in the refrigerator, the more bacteria, which causes foodborne illness, can grow, especially if the refrigerator temperature is above 40 degrees Fahrenheit or 4 degrees Celsius. Be alert for spoiled food. Anything that looks or smells suspicious should be thrown out. Mold is a sign of spoilage. It can grow even under refrigeration. Mold is not a major health threat, but it can make food unappetizing. The safest practice is to discard food that is moldy. Be aware that food can make you very sick even when it doesn't look, smell, or taste spoiled. That's because foodborne illnesses are caused by bacteria, which are different from spoilage bacteria that makes food go bad. Many bacteria are present in raw or uncooked meat, poultry, seafood, milk and eggs, unclean water, and on fruits and vegetables. Keeping these foods properly chilled will slow down the growth of bacteria. following the other recommended food handling practices such as washing your hands, cleaning surfaces and produce, separate raw foods from ready-to-eat foods, and cook to safe temperatures will further reduce your risk of getting sick. And if it happens you lose your electricity, keep refrigerator and freezer doors closed as much as possible. Your refrigerator will keep food cold for about 4 hours if it is unopened. A full freezer will keep an adequate temperature for about 48 hours if the door remains closed. It's challenge time once again. Let me see if you can guess where to place the following food items to prevent them from getting spoiled. If you're ready, let's start the game. If you answered them all correctly, congratulations! Storing your medicines properly can help to ensure they work as they should as well as prevent poisoning accidents. Where you store your medicine can affect how well it works. Learn about storing your medicine properly to keep it from getting damaged. Here are some tips on how to take care of your medicines.
How to store medications. Oxygen, light, and water can break down your medications. Take care of your medications and take care of yourself by storing your medications in a cool, dry, dark location. You will need a cabinet or drawer, a secure location, original containers, and a list of current medications. Step 1. Avoid using the medicine cabinet. There is too much moisture in the bathroom. Store your medications in a cabinet or drawer in another room instead. Avoid a location above the stove or sink. Step 2. Keep your medications out of direct sunlight and away from rooms where there are large temperature fluctuations like the kitchen. Step 3. Keep them out of reach or locked in a cabinet if children are present. Step 4. Keep your medications in their original containers. That way you will have all the important dosage information and the prescription number if you need a refill. Step 5. Have your medications on hand when traveling. Don't store your medications in the glove compartment, which can become damaged by outside temperatures, the heater, or air conditioner. Step 6. Keep a list of your current medications on you at all times when traveling. Keeping your medications safe keeps you safe. Did you know antidepressants are one of the most widely prescribed drugs in the United States?
Tip number 1. Heat, air, light, and moisture may damage your medicine. Store your medicine in a cool, dry place. For example, store it in your dresser, drawer, or kitchen cabinet away from the stove, sink, and any hot appliances. You can also store medicine in a storage box, on a shelf, or in a closet. If you are like most people, you probably store your medicine in a bathroom cabinet, but the heat and moisture from your shower, bath, and sink may damage your medicine. Your medicine can become less potent or they may go bad before the expiration date. Always keep medicine in its original container. Always read medicine label or ask your pharmacist about any specific storage instructions. Ready for another challenge? Let's play What's Inside the Medicine Cabinet game. Examine very well the medicine cabinet. Do you notice some items which should not be kept inside the medicine cabinet? List it down on your paper. I will give you 15 seconds, and if you're ready, let's start. If you answered them all correctly, congratulations! And now let's do some recap. In this lesson, you learned that temperature can affect materials at home, most especially food and medicine. With proper storage, it helps prevent unnecessary waste and minimizes the risk of illness at home. So that's it for our lesson today. Don't forget to read more about our lesson in your textbook and module and answer the activities in your worksheets. I'm your teacher, Sir Abaya. Thanks for listening. Goodbye, class. That's all for today. See you next time.